So does Nvidia think we all secretly have like a grand lying around for a GPU? Because it certainly feels like it after that announcement. Let's talk about it. Hello and welcome. My name is Wolfie and you are watching GreaterThanPie. So for those of you who don't know, Nvidia announced the 4090, the 4080, and the 4080 asterisk. Not really, it's really a 4070. Yeah, let's just say the internet at large, myself, every other reviewer, and all of us in the tech space are really kind of scratching our head looking at Nvidia like they're absolute lunatics. Because with the specs, they announced a lot of different features, DLSS 3.0, which they're cutting off and making exclusive to the 4000 series. Mods to make ray tracing a thing. They pulled an AMD essentially and made it open source and let the community do the work for them. FSR has been doing this, by the way, since early on, and then CAS and RAS came out a little bit later to make it even easier to do. Digressing a little bit, they announced all their AI stuff and something involving power that is extremely hard to quantitate. But the bigger issue is they announced the prices. And with the 4090 coming in around $1,500-ish, a 4080 costing $1,000, and then the not really 4080 being around, $900, $850 to $900, it didn't leave a good taste in everyone's mouth. And that's because this is entirely intentional. Nvidia is screwing up the pricing here so that only the hyper fans are going to want to buy it. You might be thinking, oh, that sounds really conspiracy. Why are you talking about that, Wolfie? Well, because these exist still. The problem is Nvidia has too many 3000 series laying around and they're trying to offload them. They've said as much, and that I'm not gonna fault them for trying to get rid of the 3000 series before selling the 4000 series. The only thing that I am really gonna get them on is driving the market up for no real reason. You see, if we actually take this generation, right? Let's take this 3060. We'll use this as the base. We could build a PC for the cost of a single 4080. Don't believe me? Here, let's go to the computer. I'll actually spec one out right now. Okay, so we're at the computer now, guys. Let's go ahead and build a PC for the cost of a 4080. So first off, what's the MSRP of the 4080? Well, the 4080, even the cheapest one possible is gonna be launching for, well, let's just call that 900 because that's pretty much 900. I already did some shopping. Didn't really take very long, actually. But we've got 7 items in a cart to make an entire PC. Let's go ahead and build a PC. Let's start with our processor. Honestly, price performance, Ryzen 5 5500, probably more than enough core to processor for a nice gaming PC. Since we're going AM4, we're gonna need at least a modern AMD motherboard. Now, this ASRock B450M Pro looks pretty good for its price. I mean, overall, it just looks like a very solid board. IO is not too bad on it. USB-C in the back. Now, there are display outputs that you're never going to be able to use, but at the same time, not a bad board for only $69. Of course, since we're going with micro ATX, we're going to want to at least build in a case that matches that. So we have a Fractal Design Pop Air Mini. You can get this in so many colors, but it comes with RGB fans for just $89, by the way, and it will fit everything just fine, including our stock cooler. DDR4 RAM at 16 gigabytes, 3200 speed will only set you back around $54. So there you go. That's most of your computer already built. Storage wise, because you're going to need to have some sort of storage. We can go ahead and throw in this Samsung 2.15 inch solid state drive, which is a whole terabyte for just under $100. For our power supply, we can go ahead and throw in an EVGA Supernova, 650 watts. Honestly, you're not going to need too much because we're trying to be budget oriented here, and that's only $69. This leaves our entire budget for our GPU, which we can go ahead and do one of these 3060s. We can do a 5600 XT if we really wanted to, but we're sitting pretty low under here. So let's see, what else can we play around with? We've got We're going to do it before shipping and tax. 6600 XT, which will have better rasterized performance. If you wanted the ray tracing, you would go with the 3060. Either way, you can get a PC for less than the cost of a single GPU in the next upcoming generation. That's just nuts. But as you can see, like, this is ridiculous. Nvidia is essentially charging the cost of a pretty decent gaming computer for a single component in a gaming computer. And they haven't announced the 4060. They haven't announced the 4070. Oh, well, they technically didn't, but we all know that the 4080 asterisk is the 4070 that we were supposed to get. And so it just doesn't feel right. As a consumer, as somebody who builds PCs for fun, seeing this dragged up to this point just feels wrong. And I think that this is the perfect opportunity to kind of talk about how things are going across the way with Team Red. Last generation, unfortunately, AMD played Nvidia's game with prices. But fortunately for us, the game with prices was favorable to us. Now, the question is still to be seen. And when the 4080 comes out, AMD will be holding a press release for their RDNA 3 GPUs. And since RDNA 2 is as good as it is, I am inclined to wait. This happened once before with Nvidia, and even in the history of us doing tech on this channel. When the 2000 series came out and Nvidia was charging an astronomical amount for the 2080, I swore off buying a Nvidia card. The 3000 series came out and I was like, yes, these prices are good, even though there weren't really much of a change. But at that time I thought, yeah, you know what, these prices are good. I'm willing to buy a 3080. Now I've been priced out of it. I'm not gonna be able to buy a true 4080. So I'm not even gonna be looking at Nvidia as an option for the near future. Until the pricing comes down, they're just out of my price range. And I think that they're out of a lot of your guys' price range. So here's what I'm gonna ask you. Do you want me to build that PC for the cost of a 4080? I could do it in either micro ATX or an SFX, like a small form factor build, and it'd still be under the price of the 4080. Not even the second one, just the first one. So do you guys wanna see that system? Do you want me to benchmark that system? And more importantly, do you want to see how absolutely ridiculous it is to charge that much for what should be a mainstream GPU, just comparison-wise? Because I honestly feel like very few of you guys are getting a game outside of 1440p. I mean, realistically, sign off in the comments. How many of you guys have displays over 1440p? I personally run 2 1440p displays. And so with that being the minimum entry, right? It's a question of, do these GPUs make sense for anybody? Really, other than people who want the absolute highest number they can get on 3D Mark. Now, the performance to dollar to everything is yet to be seen. But even so, the idea that you could build an entire PC for the same cost as a single part is, well, let's just say we're no strangers to that concept on this channel. But that's where we're gonna end today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, you can give it a like, maybe comment, subscribe. I do content like this all the time, and I hope to see you in the next video. Wolfie, out.